Darian.
I'm Mike.
And we're going to do the Week 14 picks for the NFL, full slate of games. So we're going to start with tonight's game, the Thursday night AFC South divisional matchup, the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Tennessee Titans.
Jaguars.
You taking the Jags on the road?
Jaguars. No, I was just trying to pronounce Jaguars.
Got me all screwed up there. So you're taking Tennessee. What do you think about this game? Or who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm like, you going to let me pick my team? Yeah. So Jacksonville, so Ramsey's likely to play, right? DJ Chark's out. There was somebody else that was kind of, I don't remember. But there was somebody else Josh Walker's not playing. I don't know, man. I mean, the Jaguars have sucked on defense. Not sucked, but the Jaguars haven't been the typical Jaguars all season long on defense. And then all of a sudden, the highfalutin Indianapolis Colts roll into Jacksonville, and they shut them down.
Well, you know what it was, right?
Shut them down.
I can tell you what it was. Would you like to know?
You can tell me whatever you want to tell me.
It was because they didn't have Blake Bortles at quarterback, and they knew it. Cody Kessler is literally an upgrade to them in their minds. They're like, well, no, I'm being serious. I honestly think that's the case. It's just the same thing with the Denver defense a couple years ago when they were cycling out Trevor Siemian and other guys. It's like, and Paxton Lynch or whoever the hell it was. It's like, this dude sucks. Like, there's no point in playing hard and like winning because we can't win even with a crappy quarterback, even if we're a good defense. So like, what's the point? Like that, I honestly think that's why. I think they've completely lost faith in Bortles, which I don't blame them for. I've said all year I can't pick that team, even after they beat New England's ass. So, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening to you.
Sorry. My Skype thing did something weird, so I was making sure I didn't get lost or in translation there or something. So, but I honestly think that's what it is. So, I haven't seen anything, but if I had to guess, Cody Kessler is probably going to play again. But here's the thing: the last 3 games these guys have played, but dating back to last year, Tennessee's won all 3. So it's in Tennessee, and Jacksonville is not playing great on the road anyway. And Tennessee had a pretty good game against the Jets last week. I know it's the Jets, I know, but they did play. They played well. They pulled out a 4-point win. So I don't know. I'm taking Tennessee here, man. There's more stability on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. And it's at home. It's a Thursday night game, so it's going to be weird. But I don't think Cody Kessler is a guy. Because he can't. Here's the thing. I'm not sure you can stop Tennessee from scoring at least 1 or 2 touchdowns. Even if they get 14 points, that might be enough. Because I don't think Cody Kessler can score touchdowns. He can get you to field goal range. But I'm not sure in the red area they can convert. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, what do you think?
I don't know what to think anymore. We go through these and we pick these games, and I'm so certain that I'm right about something. And then, like, the complete opposite happens. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? I would have thought the Colts would have won by, like, 30.
Hey, man, football is weird, dude. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you. So, anyways, I'm picking the Titans because they're at home, and I do think they're a better team. But I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville won. That's all I got to say.
I wouldn't either, for sure. Plus, like I said, Thursday night games are ripe for just weirdness. They really are. They're funky. So, but I also think Jacksonville might be wrongly feeling themselves a little bit after shutting out Andrew Luck and the Colts. By the way, a little interesting stat for the Colts, because I could get to it later, but I'm just going to say it right now. That was the first time ever in Andrew Luck's career he's been shut out. Did you know that?
Did not know that.
Yep. So, a little interesting. So, but yeah. All right. So, we're both taking Tennessee, right?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. All right. So, let's move Let's move along to the 1 o'clock games on Sunday. New York Jets at the Buffalo Football Bills. Who you taking here? They just cut Kelvin Benjamin, by the way.
Not just Kelvin Benjamin, but they also cut
Andre Holmes, right?
Andre Holmes, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Who's he's okay as like a 4th receiver, but where he really shines is special teams. He was with the Raiders, and he was like one of the best gunners.
Right.
But anyways.
But I
I
mean,
don't know, man. They're
Kelvin Benjamin wasn't even helping that team though, was he? Like, I don't think that's a loss.
no, and I guess the whole idea behind the whole thing is because Andre Holmes has been in the league for, I think he was with the Raiders probably like 5 or 6
Yeah,
years,
I
and then a
remember him.
couple away. So he's
He's a
he's
vet.
probably getting up there in age. And I think the whole idea was they were trying to just go with a little bit younger movement with a couple guys they didn't expect to be there next year. They're obviously not going to the playoffs, so they
Yeah,
figured why not get a start on it now.
no, and that makes total sense to me. He's 30 by the way, so that makes sense. Everything you said, I agree with. So,
Yeah,
and you usually see teams who are on the decline later on in the year start to cut bait with guys that they probably won't take with them into next season, just to get a head start on it, like you said, and see what they have in the youth. So,
right, because it's really hard to evaluate during preseason because it's nobody's doing anything.
right, and all the
Right.
play calls are watered down on both sides. Like, right,
Well, but I mean, not only that, but I mean, you got guys that are, so and so put up 4 touchdowns and 296 yards, and everybody's like, yeah, but that was against third string defense. And then the argument's, well, he had a third string offensive line, third string receivers. Okay, so that's great. So let's put those guys in now with guys that are actually playing in the
right,
season, and then let's see if they can still throw for 3 touchdowns, 297 yards, or
yeah,
run for 150 yards, or whatever the case may be. It's a lot easier if it's the preseason at the end of the season is what it really is, and it's really a smart thing to do. If you've got no shot, you can
right.
suck for luck, or you can tank for Frank, or you can try to evaluate players you got. So,
Yeah, I agree.
anyways, all that being said, because it's really not a game I even could remotely give a biscuit about, I am going to pick the Bills because they're at home and they have Josh Allen, and thank you.
And they have a good defense. They do. So, and I agree. And Josh Allen's honestly kind of been frisky. Like, I like the way Josh Allen.
You need to come up with another word besides frisky.
But they're frisky. I will say this though. Okay. I fell asleep when the Patriots played in Buffalo Monday night a few weeks ago. So I haven't seen a lot of Josh Allen up close, but I've seen some red I almost said league pass, but that's NBA. I have seen some red zone stuff though. He's very interesting. So when we play him again later on in the year, we meaning Patriots. I'm not on that roster, but I say we because I'm a fan. I'm gonna closely watch him because I actually think he might be kind of good. Like I honestly do. So he has no help there. So I mean, defensively he has some help, but offensively there's just nothing really to write home about. But yeah, I'm taking Buffalo too. They're at home, and I like everything on both sides of the ball at least more than I like it for the Jets. So it's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So what do we?
Let's move along to another game that I'm sure neither one of us is going to care about because now the Redskins are on playing Mr. Mark Dirty Sanchez. Can't believe they got another broken leg. So we got Dirty Sanchez going against creepy old guy Eli.
Yeah, mouth breather Eli. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they kind of rallied around Mark Sanchez and were like, "Hey, man,
dude. No, but here's my thing. How are you going to run a 90-yard touchdown and not have a 100-yard game?
Who are you talking about?
Adrian Peterson had a touchdown, 90-yard run for a touchdown.
Oh.
And he didn't get 100 yards.
That's crazy. I didn't know that at all, actually. I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I stayed completely away from that Monday night game against Philly. Cause
I didn't watch it. It was all over the Twitters.
Oh,
it was all over Twitterverse going, it's the first time that a player's ever had a 90-yard run and not got 100 yards. I'm like, well, what did he get hurt, pull a hamstring or something? And I looked at it. No, he carried the ball 8 more times after that.
That's kind of interesting. That's funny. That actually is hilarious. That's kind of interesting to me because I would have thought maybe Jalen Richard had a 91-yard rush and then never had anything else. So that's interesting that this is the first time it's ever happened. That is interesting.
First time ever that somebody's had a 90-yard run and didn't get a 100-yard game.
That's really funny.
I know, and it's Adrian freaking Peterson too. It's not like he's been slacking off this year. He's been putting yards up, man.
Right. So,
but anyways, let's not dwell.
I'll tell you what. This honestly, okay. So Landon Collins is probably going to need shoulder surgery, so he's probably out.
He's out. He's on IR. He's done.
Yeah. So this is what's bad is when your defense is worse than the Eli Manning led offense. It's a bad situation in New York, and that's kind of where they are right now. So. I could see a shootout in a really sloppy. No, for real. I can see it a sloppy shootout where there's turnovers and then both teams get the ball in each other's red zone because of fumbles and interceptions and all that crazy crap. But
here's another thing to just make it a little bit more exciting for you.
Yeah.
The weather it's supposed to snow.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I embrace it. I'm taking... Oh, but you know what? Okay. I'm taking the Giants. And here's why. Because if it snows...
I already put it down because I knew you were going to do that.
I was actually going to take the Redskins, but once you said it was snowing, I'm like, nah, man. Saquon Barkley is going to own this game. I hope. Because it'd be fun to watch. So.
Yeah, because not only that, but they just put their center on IR. They just put a guard on IR.
Who? The Redskins?
The Redskins. Right. Everybody's hurt for the Redskins. Like, everybody's hurt. Like, everybody.
Yeah, so I'll take the Giants then because I didn't know the weather thing, so that's interesting. So you taking the Giants as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's move on to the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm not gonna watch this game because I actually have a Patriots game at 1 on Sunday also, and also I'm gonna check in on the Colts Texans and the Ravens Chiefs because I think those games are all gonna be interesting. Well, I don't think Patriots Dolphins will be interesting, but I have to watch it because I'm addicted. But this game could be kind of fun because Jameis has been scoring some points lately, and that defense has been not stopping really anybody. But at the same time, the New Orleans had a couple weeks here where they've who do they? I'm trying to think. Who did they play last week?
I don't remember.
I'm pulling it up right now, but they played. Okay, so it was Thursday night, right. They played the Cowboys, and they had a tough go, man. They got their ass whooped. It was 13-10 Dallas. So, but they had a good defense. They really do. So, I don't think they were expecting that, honestly. And I think Mike Thomas is going to have a comeback game here because he's had a couple weeks now where he hasn't done much. Even against Atlanta on Thanksgiving night, he didn't really play that well. Mainly it's not really him so much as I think that they're just spreading the ball around more because he's probably getting more looks from safeties as well later on in the year because like he's been killing teams because I have him in fantasy and Mike Thomas has been killing teams. So, but I think the Saints will get right here and they'll like get back on track offensively and they'll score a crap load of points and Kamara and Mike Thomas are gonna probably each have a touchdown and I'm taking the Saints by like 10 at least. So.
Yeah, I got the Saints too. It's going to be one of those world famous Tampa Bay Lightning games. The prediction is thunderstorms for the weather.
Oh, outstanding! So it'll be a 5-hour game with a 2-hour delay.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm going to take honestly, the Saints. There's no way the Buccaneers are going to pull that one out.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, I think they'll keep it kind of close because I think that they can score. I just don't think they can stop the Saints at all. So,
I just hope Mike Evans scores all their points because he's on my fantasy team in my money league, and I need this baby.
That's funny. Because you're in playoffs, right?
Huh?
It's playoffs, right? Week 1. It's playoffs for me.
I don't know. Oh, so. No, it's. I don't know. Let's not talk about fantasy though.
Yeah, we shouldn't. But I will say one thing. Is Tampa Bay, if you had to pick at the top of your list teams that should just move, is Tampa Bay number 1? Because I think it is. Or do you think it's Jacksonville? Like if you could just
if I had to pick a team that I thought should like actually leave their area for some reason or another, I'm thinking I would probably go with
the Chargers and put them back in San Diego.
Well, no, that's not a good idea. No, I'm thinking, man, that's a good question. Let's not dwell on that because I don't know. I've got like 4 different teams that I think should not be where they are, 5 or 6 maybe even.
That's fine. That's okay. I honestly was just thinking you were going to agree with me because I just don't think they should have that team, honestly, because I just think the thunderstorm thing is just trash. But it's fine. So we're both taking New Orleans. All right, so we're moving on to the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. It's gonna be Patriots. I mean, historically, later on in the year when we play in Miami, the Ringer actually just detailed a piece about this today. I'm trying to find out who wrote it because I want to credit them. I'm sorry, it was Danny Heifetz. For the Ringer, was talking about the past troubles that Brady's had in Miami, because they're frisky. I had to say it again. I expect New England to handle business though. Honestly, they've been a up and down team. They shellacked Miami in New England 38-7 or something the first time, like the week 4, because Miami was 3-0 and I remember that. So. I don't know. I I just think they'll be fine. I think Sony Michel's gonna destroy them, and Josh Gordon's proven to be someone who can close out games, which has been awesome. I love Josh Gordon. So yeah, I'm taking the Patriots, man. I can't pick against them, and I think it'll be closer than the first time they'll play. I'll just say that. That may mean 23-10 or 30-10, but I don't think it'll be 38-7 or anything crazy like that. But I do think that they'll handle business. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking the Patriots because it just seems like the logical selection there. I don't see any way the Dolphins. I just don't see any way. I don't see any way they can do it. I don't.
I don't either. It would take something severe happening to someone on New England, and I don't even want to talk about that because I don't want to jinx it. But that's the kind of stuff that we're working with here for them. Is Miami's in a bad place. I don't even know what the direction that franchise is. I don't know. It sucks too for them because Tannehill's just good enough for you to be directionless. You know what I mean? Like, you're always going to be picking at least past the 10th pick, which is not good enough to consistently improve your football team if you don't make the right picks. And you obviously can't always make the right picks because that's impossible because it's just hard to do. So it puts you in this gray area of just crappy directionless football, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I just hate Miami. All right, let's move on to, I think, one of the most interesting games of Sunday, 1 o'clock. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, the Ravens, at the Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. What do you think about this game?
Chiefs.
Really? Even with that really, really good defense that just held Julio Jones to, 2 catches for 18 yards in Atlanta?
Don't care. They had Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't like Matt Ryan either, but locking down Julio is tough, man. That's rough. So, I want to take Lamar Jackson and the Ravens so bad because I think they're on a 3. I want to say it's a 3-game win streak.
I just know they're going to friggin' Arrowhead and playing the boys.
Yeah, they are, but I mean, no one's been able to stop the rushing attack from Gus. What's his name? Gus Edwards.
That's fine. Don't stop Gus Edwards.
And Lamar,
ain't nobody been able to stop Tyreek Hill either.
No, that's fair. Well, shoot, the Ravens might. Hey, you
they
know
ain't got
what?
nobody fast enough.
No, I'm taking Baltimore.
All right.
I am. I'm taking Baltimore by 1.
I got the Chiefs by 17.
Yeah, right. They're not scoring.
I'm even gonna write that down in my picks right here. I'm going down here, and I got Chiefs by 17. So I can reflect on my correctness.
Your wrongness, yeah, correctness. All right,
okay.
That's gonna be a fun game, though, man. I think so. So, what's the next game you got?
We got the Indianapolis. I can't score against the Jaguars. Colts going against the Houston. We're gonna whoop your ass Texans.
All right. Spoiler alert: the 9-game win streak for the Houston Texans ends here. Andrew Luck.
Jesus.
No, I'm serious. Andrew Luck and the Colts getting back on track against Deshaun Watson. Well, I should say not really Deshaun Watson, but I should say against J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, all them boys. Because I like the way the defense is playing. They're not playing they're not I don't know if they're top 5 defense or anything right now, but they are playing well, and they could be top 5. I'm just saying I don't know if they are, but man, DeAndre Hopkins is sick. Deshaun Watson, honestly, at the beginning of this year, I was like, I'm not actually sure he was good. But that offensive line, honestly, was just very, 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 very bad. But they've kind of worked some kinks out, and it's crazy, man. They started 0-3, and they've won 9 in a row. Granted, they haven't played a lot of good teams, but still, winning 9 games in a row is just hard to do. It really is. No matter who you are, that shit's hard to do. Excuse my language, but it's just, it is. So, but it stops here. They're not going to be 10-3 today or on Sunday. They're going to be 9-4, and that's still respectable, but ain't happening. Colts are going to get right here because I think the Colts are a pretty good team. I think they're both pretty good teams. I think they're honestly really evenly matched, but I think the Colts. I honestly think what happened last week was such an aberration because I think the defense really got up because they knew Blake Bortles wasn't playing, and I think they were like, "Hey, let's do this," and they just did it. So. And low key, Jacksonville's kind of a hard place to play now. I feel like the defense is on. It kind of honestly is kind of tough. That with the big pool, you're thinking about swimming, so you can't think about football. Those type of things. No, not funny.
So just so you know, so far since they've started their streak, they've beaten the Colts, they've beaten the Cowboys, they've beaten Jacksonville, they've destroyed Miami, they beat Denver, they broke Washington, they crushed Tennessee, they crushed Cleveland.
That's fine, but those are all middling pack teams, so I'm not like impressed.
What are the Colts?
Well, the Colts were okay. So no. Listen, the Colts are good. I think the Colts are good, and so I'm not saying, but the Colts aren't obviously a juggernaut. You know what I mean? Like they beat them by 3, and okay. And I remember that game now that I'm looking at it in overtime. They should have lost that game too. They really should have lost that game. And they beat the Cowboys by 3 in overtime. Like they squeaked by. See, all these teams like they're squeaking by. Like they beat Buffalo. They beat in Jacksonville. They did win that game. They did, like you said, they shellacked Miami. In Denver, they barely got out of there alive.
As an old fat guy once said, you are what your record says you are.
Right, and I agree with that. And I also will say that most of these teams are fringy-ish. Like, could have, at one point, we thought might have made the playoffs. Like, for example, before everyone got hurt, like all their quarterbacks from the Redskins could have made the playoffs. Titans might still. Denver. So I will say that, like, they did beat some, Dallas before Dallas actually was good because it was week 5 and they weren't that good yet. But so you're right, but I still think all those wins are like house of cards wins. You know what I mean? I really do. I'm not sold on Tennessee, or excuse me, Houston. So, I'm taking Indianapolis. You're taking Houston, right?
Oh yeah.
All right. So that's interesting. So is that
shizzle?
Is that how many games? Well, I know I picked Baltimore because you goaded me into it. Because
I didn't goad you into nothing.
You tried to talk crap about me.
I picked the Titans, I picked the Bills, I picked the Giants, I picked the Saints, I picked the Patriots. So just the last 2 are different.
Okay, cool. All right. What do we have next?
So now let's go to crappy team versus coachless team, who probably will win because now Mike McCarthy's stupid decisions won't get in the way.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, it would be so funny. So we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers. I was thinking too, what if Aaron Rodgers throws for like 500 touchdowns and like 500
touchdowns and 4 yards.
Hey, well then he's maybe he really is the GOAT after that. No, I was thinking like if he loses his mind and has like a 500 yards, 5 touchdown game just to like say, yeah, I'm glad Mike McCarthy's gone because I don't think that he liked him very much, honestly. At least not towards the end. I'm actually going to take Atlanta here though. If we're just talking about 2 teams with defenses that are and 2 offenses that are kind of but could be good on any given day, depending on if they play well, I'd rather have the Falcon offense. So I'm taking Atlanta. It's going to be probably cold though, and I don't know what the weather is, but that could affect.
26 is the high, but it'll be sunny.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I don't know. I like Atlanta here.
I got the Packers. They're higher ranked offense. They're way higher ranked defense. They're
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're 1 spot below in passing, and they are 11 spots above in rushing.
And that's fine. I just think I've seen enough Joe Field. And they're what?
And they're better.
I'm not sure they're better. I think they're both really close. I can't say which one's better because I don't think the Green Bay showed me a lot. They just got their ass beat at home by Arizona. So, and they have virtually the same record except instead of an extra loss, Green Bay's got a tie. So I'm not sure they're better, honestly. But I've just seen enough Joe Philbin coach games in Miami to not want to pick him. So, because that's their interim coach is Joe Philbin. So his reanimated corpse is going to be out there because he looks like a zombie. No offense, but he does. All right. So what do we have next?
Panthers at the Browns.
Hey, ugly game. What do you think?
Browns. The Panthers are finding new and exciting ways to lose games every single week.
Yeah, I wanted to look.
That used to be the Browns thing. And once Mayfield pulled his head out of his behind, he stopped throwing interceptions. They actually threw up a ton of points last week.
Right, they got kind of back into that game against Houston. But they, like you said, they dug a hole they couldn't get out of.
Carolina's lost to Tampa Bay.
I'm looking.
Inexcusable.
Yeah,
They lost to Seattle, which isn't terrible because Seattle's not a bad team.
Seattle's
They
good.
lost
I think.
they lost to Detroit. They got just destroyed by Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and
by 30.
That's what I was gonna say. Exactly. I'm glad you run those back. I thank you because I was gonna do that. I think Pittsburgh broke this team because they were like 6-2 or something. Yeah, they were 6-2 going into that Thursday night game. They got destroyed by 31 points, 52-21 in Pittsburgh, and they've lost ever since. They're on a 4-game lose streak. I don't think they get right against Cleveland. I agree with you, actually. I'm thinking the more and more I think about it, I think Baker Mayfield can beat this team. I really do. The defense
Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, and Landry, and I mean the Browns have
David
talent.
Njoku,
just they have a rookie quarterback who occasionally does stupid stuff.
And
once he gets
fine.
over
He's
the
a
stupid
rookie.
stuff, then they'll be fine. But I don't see how the Panthers have just fallen apart. Christian McCaffrey making terrible mistakes too, staying in bounds and doing all kinds of stupid stuff. So
yeah, and he's a young guy, and so I give him that. And this is his first year of like a huge workload because I feel like they didn't utilize him that much until the end of last year. But yeah, man, I agree with you. Carolina's just fallen apart. Like I think Pittsburgh broke them. I think they got their ass beat and we're like, well, what are we? Like, are we a good team or what the hell? And then I think they just, like you said, they've been finding new and exciting ways to lose. So I think Cleveland improves to 5-7-1 here. I'm picking Cleveland as well, and it's in Cleveland, so that does affect my thinking and my pick. But yeah, I can't pick a team.
Moving along to our 4 o'clock. The Broncos, who we found out Emmanuel Sanders tore his Achilles, so he's not playing unless he's going to hop around on one leg. But who else do they have for receivers?
They got that kid Sutton. I think Cody Sutton, is that his name? They like
Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton. I'm sorry, I butchered that. But here's the thing. We don't spend a lot of time on this game because I don't think, even though they have good coaching in San Francisco, it's not enough with like the whole. Okay.
No. The Broncos are gonna even without Emmanuel Sanders, they're gonna handle the business. They'll be fine.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Philip Lindsay. Here's my hot take. Philip Lindsay, offensive rookie of the year. Even over Saquon Barkley. Yes, I'm sorry, but yes. Dude is awesome. Dude is okay. What do you mean now? Have you watched him?
Yeah, I watched him.
No, dude. There's no way you've watched him. All right, here. Let me tell you something.
It's the Broncos. I have to watch him.
Okay, but listen to me. I'm so serious. Okay, 937 yards, 6.1 yards per carry, and 8 touchdowns. And then you've got 954 yards, which is, 27 more or whatever the hell the number is. Or, I'm sorry, I can't count. But, it's like 20 more. 4.9, so a full 1.2 yards less, and still 8 touchdowns. So Saquon Barkley's got like 30 more yards, almost a yard and a half less average, and the same amount of touchdowns as Philip Lindsay. Only Philip Lindsay has done it on 41 less carries.
Well, let's not forget this though, buddy. Saquon Barkley also has 600 yards receiving, 8 yards average, and 4 more touchdowns.
Okay.
Mic drop.
Well, that's fine. Let me pull up Pro Football Reference and see what the hell.
Well, I can tell you he's got less than 280 yards receiving because I'm looking at the top 4 receivers, and the third worst guy's got 281 yards.
Yeah, see, it looks like they barely target him. Well, sometimes they target him one game against the Rams, a crap load, but they really only target him like 3 times a game. But no, man, I'm sorry, Philip Lindsay, and here's why. Here's why. Because you can give Rookie of the Year to Saquon Barkley, but Offensive Rookie of the Year, because that's honestly what I was thinking anyway. It's got to be Philip Lindsay, dude. He's awesome. So I'm taking, and that's anyway. Now that we've gotten into our whole little shtick about that, that's why the Broncos.
And let us not forget about Baker Mayfield either.
Yeah, but I think with what he's done, I think I'd probably rather take Lindsay's performance over. Because Mayfield's been up and down. He's been awesome, but he's also been bad at points, and that's fine because you're a rookie quarterback, and so that's acceptable. I just think, I don't know. I get what you're saying, no, but I would take Phil Lindsay's Offensive Rookie of the Year. But he's the reason they're going to win that game. So even though they lost Emmanuel Sanders, which is a big blow to them, they still have a cupcake schedule going down. Denver does, but it's going to be rough without probably your best receiver. So
yeah, and he was their best receiver. So
oh, absolutely, dude is awesome. I keep thinking about how he almost signed with New England a few years ago, and every time I cringe because I'm like, God, he would have been unstoppable as a route runner for us, and it just kills me because he was once he left Pittsburgh, I think he visited New England, and I was like, oh man. So all right, so let's move on to the next 4:00 game. It's Cincinnati, the tail spinning Bengals against the LA Chargers. It's gonna be the Chargers by a lot, man.
yeah,
If anyone's still listening and you're doing fantasy football, pick up Justin Jackson, the rookie running back. I think he's a rookie. I'm not sure, but the running back who's sharing some snaps with Austin Eckler. Dude is so good, and apparently Chargers fans were like waiting for him to be unleashed because that's what I saw on the game thread on Sunday night when they beat Pittsburgh in that comeback victory. By the way, Pittsburgh, not man. They're kind of tail spinning too. We'll get to them though. Justin Jackson, man, I'm telling you, I'm playing him in FanDuel this week. Dude is gonna be, dude. I don't even know what he averaged in that game, but it felt like 10 yards every carry. It felt like he just ran through everybody like they were just nothing. It was crazy. So, and Keenan Allen is that dude, man. Keenan Allen might be the most underrated receiver in football right now. I really think so, because nobody thinks about him as a top 10 guy, and he is so very clearly a top 10 receiver. Like, he's sick. I love Keenan Allen. So, Chargers by a lot. I just wanted to give some ups to some of those guys, and Phillip Rivers is having an awesome year too. So he's if there weren't so many freaking good quarterback performances collectively this year between Goff, Breeze, and Mahomes, man, this could have been the type of year where Phillip Rivers could be MVP. But it's just not fair with the way that there's so many good quarterbacks this year. But he's having an outstanding year. So Chargers by a lot, right?
yes.
Do you have anything to say to that game too, or because I didn't either. I literally don't even talk about Cincinnati because they're so trash. I just wanted to shout out everything that I think the Chargers are doing because it's really awesome. Oh, AJ Green got hurt last week with a toe injury, and he's officially on IR. So they're shutting him down for the year, which is probably the smart move because they're not going anywhere. They keep losing games. There's no point to rush him back. Just let him get right for next season. Hopefully they'll be healthier and stuff. So, yeah. So we got Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. What do you think, man? I don't know who to pick. I kind of want to take Arizona at home.
I'm picking the Lions.
Oh, really?
But no good reason other than the Cardinals, I think, are worse.
See, that's the thing. I think they're worse, but I can't prove it because Detroit can play worse. So,
well, Detroit has to play Chicago. Detroit has to play Minnesota. Detroit has to play Green Bay. So they've got to play good teams. The Cardinals really only have to play Seattle and the Rams, and I think they actually have to play both of them one more time. So the Lions' record is a little. I mean, your record is what what it says you are, but I mean, they had a weird game in the very beginning of the year. Since then, they barely lost San Francisco. They beat the Patriots.
Yeah,
they should have beat Dallas. They beat Green Bay. They beat Miami. They got spanked at playing Seattle because Chris Carson decided to show up. And then they started kind of weeble-wobbling, and they lost to Minnesota, and they lost to Chicago, and they beat Carolina. That's not new. Barely lost to Chicago, and they lost to the Rams. So they've had a rough schedule, but they beat some good teams.
Yeah.
The Cardinals haven't beat anybody that's any good.
You said Green Bay was good. They just whooped Green Bay's ass in Green Bay, though. They did just do that. So
yeah, but Green Bay's not that good. I'm just saying Green Bay doesn't suck. They're just a middling team because they're playing rookie receivers all year.
No, I get that. I do get that. I'm just saying
passing game is rookie receivers.
I know. Mike McCarthy was allergic to using Aaron Jones. I know that, but listen, and they didn't actually destroy Green Bay. They won by a friggin' field goal. No, but they dominated them for 3 quarters until Green Bay finally woke up. They kicked their ass. They really did. They were better on both sides of the ball all game. But here, I want to say one thing. I'm picking Arizona, and the reason why is because that defense has shown that they've kind of gotten up in the last couple weeks, started to play a little bit better. At least it looks like it. I'm not sure it's translating to stats or not. I don't know, but
No, because they gave up 45 to the Chargers 2 weeks ago.
all right, well that's fair. But the Chargers are really good, so I'm not mad at that. But I will say, at least last week, I felt like they played better. So I think that they can just, and I can just see. I honestly can just see me picking Detroit, and then at like 7 o'clock being like, God damn it, why did I pick the Lions? Like they suck, man. I should have known they were going to lose by 3 or like by 10 or whatever the hell it's going to be, just some weird number because the Lions can just not show up on any given day. So I want to say I think Jim Bob Cooter is probably out the door soon because I think he's kind of had an awakening of he might not be that good of an offensive offensive coordinator. So yeah, I'm taking Arizona there.
Okay. I'm not. I'm taking the Lions. The only team that Arizona's beat other than Green Bay, which was a shenanigans game anyways, is San Francisco twice. They've lost to everybody, including the Raiders.
But they've recently started to actually use David Johnson, and I like that. So I like that, plus with a defense that might be feeling themselves after a win on the road. They're back at home. I can live with that. And Josh Rosen's kind of shown some things, too. He's made some good throws. I like Josh Rosen, so I think he's going to be good. Not great, maybe, but I'm not saying he's going to be great. I'm just saying I like him. I think they might have something there, so something at least to build off of for next year once they fire Steve Wilkes, because I don't think he's a good coach. All right, let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road in the black hole to face the Oakland Raiders. Steelers, do they get right here after losing 2 games to Denver and the Chargers?
I don't know. I don't think so. In the long history of the Raiders sucking for the last 16 years, they've never won in Oakland since Ben Roethlisberger's been their quarterback ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Good, because I want them to lose. I'm taking Oakland. I want to root for them, so I'm taking the Raiders because I didn't know that stat. But the Steelers are kind of tail spinning, and honestly, if they want to on any given day, I think Oakland can get in a shootout with anybody. I do think they can because they just got in a shootout with the Chiefs last week, right?
Yeah, and we only lost by a touchdown that should never have counted because it was, we won't even go there. But anyways, the thing about the Raiders that's going on is, that's who I'm picking also because I think they'll win. But I hope they don't win because I really want to secure the number 1 draft choice. But I think they'll win. And the reason why is because multiple things. One, Roethlisberger's never won there. Even when they were really good and the Raiders were really bad, even before he's never won there, ever. And weird. There must be a reason why. There must be something that he doesn't like about playing there. And so there's that. There's spiraling. There's the fact that the Raiders are actually starting to play the right guys on defense to get some pressures on the quarterback. And if it wasn't for Fadal Brown doing the old false starter Rooney to give Kansas City a first down, one of those touchdowns never would have happened. And Derek Carr is actually starting to throw the ball down the field now because the offense was so new and everybody in it was so new and both tackles were rookies and blah, 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 all the excuses, right? But because of all those things, he never had time to throw the ball. So I retweeted something earlier, and I don't know if you saw it or not. It was kind of a crazy little stat line thing that I saw, and let's see if I can find it real fast. And I probably can't because I'm a bozo. But anyways, long story short, he's gone over 7 games without throwing an interception.
Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's a cool stat. I like that.
Well, so here's the thing. He's 155 of 229 for 1,500 yards, 10 passing TDs, 1 rushing TD, a 101 passer rating in the last 7 games without throwing an interception, all while also being sacked 28 freaking times.
Yeah. He's getting his ass beat, that's for sure.
Yeah, but all that being said, he's throwing the ball down the field.
Yeah, and that's why I said, honestly, if they show up, they can get into a shootout with anybody. They really can. So I'm not sure they can win every shootout, but they can make it interesting. So I think Pittsburgh will probably win, but this would be very Pittsburgh-y to lose this game and lose 3 in a row after losing to Broncos, who actually are pretty good, and it was in Denver. I think it was in Denver. And then losing to the Chargers at home, blowing a huge lead. This would be pretty Steelers-ish to lose a game on the road to the Raiders. It really would be. So,
Yeah, the Raiders are starting to play better, and I'm hoping they stop doing that. But
well, Carr said he doesn't want that number 1 pick, so he's out for
well,
some W's.
he can kiss my ass. I do want that number 1 pick because then somebody's going to have to give us 2 number 1s to move up to get their quarterback because everybody needs a quarterback every year, and number 2 is going to be, who knows? Anyways, yeah. So I got the Raiders too. You got the Raiders.
Yeah.
The next game, I don't even know if we need to talk about it a whole lot. I think it's kind of obvious.
Who are you taking?
Cowboys.
Okay, yeah. We're talking about Philly Eagles. It's the last 4:00 game against the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't watch that Monday night game, but so I don't know what they showed. But they weren't playing. They were playing a dead team because that team has no hope in Washington anymore because just the quarterback injuries. Kind of sucked the life out of that team, which I expected. Dallas is good, man. Amari Cooper has kind of changed that offense. So Dak Prescott's playing well with him. Cooper's kind of balling, like he really is. And that defense is talented, man. Front seven's sick. And the secondary is playing well, too. Byron Jones, a couple of the other guys Chidobe Awuzie, sick from Colorado. I like him a lot. They've got some pieces for real, so I think Dallas, too. I think Dallas is headed for that divisional win, honestly. And this is the game they got to win to pretty much to carry it, I think. So I think if they win this game...
It is. If the Eagles win it, the Eagles have the inside track. If the Eagles lose, the Eagles probably don't make the playoffs unless a couple other teams completely collapse. But
okay,
yeah,
cool.
it'll be the Cowboys.
I think so, too.
Now, game... go ahead.
No, I'm agreeing with you. You're good.
Yeah, I was going to say, now the game that Sunday night actually is, to me, going to be an interesting game, maybe. It's either going to be an interesting game or it's going to get blown up in the first half, and then I won't care, and I'll turn it to like the Curse of Oak Island or something. I don't know.
Right. Well, it's
the Rams. Huh?
No, go ahead. I was going to say what the game was, but you're headed there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Rams at the Bears.
Sunday night football.
They're playing in Chicago on Sunday night.
Trubisky will play.
Trubisky might play.
Well, okay. He said he will play, but it's like, well, let's hold off on that. But I honestly think he will. I really do. I think he's at least going to try to.
Yeah, I don't know if he is or isn't or whatever, but I don't know. That to me is not going to be like the deciding factor.
See, it kind of. Well, no, go ahead, because I was going to say something, but it doesn't make sense.
It's all going to be about Chicago's defense. If Chicago can slow down the Rams, I think even with Chase Daniel playing quarterback, I think Chicago can maybe put up 20 points or so, 25, 24, somewhere around in there. The problem is going to be can they keep the Rams under that? And I just don't think they can.
Well,
I
don't know, man. You're talking about Eddie Jackson telling me he's one of the best players defensively on the league, and Eddie Jackson's awesome, and I like.
Yeah, but the Rams got a lot of dudes.
No, I know they do. I do, but they don't have Cooper Kupp. Todd Gurley hates fantasy players, so he might not. I'm just kidding, but that's a thing, right? Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it was really funny. I don't know. Josh Reynolds is kind of like, he's good, but he doesn't really impress me. I don't know. Brandon Cooks having an awesome year. Robert Woods is like that dude. Like, he's having an outstanding year. Wow. And I keep naming guys, and I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be hard as hell to stop this team. I'm taking the Rams just because I do think it'll be too hard, but I think there's a roadmap. I don't know if it's for sure Trubisky. I honestly kind of might take the Bears, but I don't want to pick them and then Sunday night before.
All it's going to take is one Aaron Donald smack.
Right. No, I agree. So I'm taking the Rams, but if Trubisky plays, it's going to be close. I will say that because I think that defense will show up. I do, especially in Chicago on Sunday Night Football. I can see there's a way where Jared Goff's just getting hit over and over again, and then a safety blitz, and then you got Khalil Mack stripping the ball in the third quarter, and it's like, well, here, and you got Chris Collinsworth going, now here's a guy that they traded in the beginning of the year, and just that whole Chris Collinsworth thing he does after when they're doing the replay of Khalil Mack swim moving some dude and ripping the ball out of Jared Goff's hand. So I could just see that, but I can't pick them because I don't know for sure if Trubisky's going to play yet. So it's kind of the caveat to that. But I think it'll be close. I do. So, but I'm taking the Rams.
Yeah, I got the Rams by 2 touchdowns and a field goal.
Yeah.
No matter what. So now the last game, Monday night.
Yeah.
This game, the Minnesota is not going to go into Seattle and beat Seattle.
No, they're not. I agree.
Mainly because of their injury issues.
Well, see, okay. You can say that, and I know we got to wrap this up. This is the last game, but I just want to say, I don't think they're as good as people believe they are. All year, I don't think they've been as good as people thought they were going to be. I'm not sure Kirk Cousins was an upgrade over Case Keenum.
No.
I'm not sure. And it was definitely not an upgrade salary cap wise.
No.
It was a complete downgrade salary cap wise, obviously.
Yeah, that was a silly thing to do.
It was a horribly silly thing to do. I completely agree with you. And also, Seattle actually is very good. So, I think. So, I'm taking Seattle by 14 points, maybe 21. They're going to beat their ass. Seattle's going to win by a lot.
Yeah, they're going to. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I think
they're going to Seattle. The Vikings aren't going to play very well in Seattle. It's Monday night.
Yeah.
Who cares what the weather is? Because they're maybe, they're both whatever. I don't care. Seattle by a lot.
I agree too. I agree. And honestly, let me say one last thing, and then we're going to wrap this up and say goodbye. That's the one team, by the way, Seattle. None of those other teams in the NFC want to see in the playoffs because they're going to be tough, dude. I'm telling you, New Orleans does not want that smoke because I think Seattle could beat them in Seattle or in New Orleans. I mean, I honestly do.
If they hand the ball off at the 1 yard line,
yeah. Well, that's the Super Bowl. So, but no, I really do. I'm telling you right now, Seattle's like that dark horse in the NFC to make the Super Bowl, which is like crazy to say, but I think it's the case. So, all right, that wraps it up for the excuse me, the 108.1 FNFB podcast. That was episode 13. So it was week 14 picks. One of these days we'll stop missing weeks, but it was holiday stuff, so give us a break. Yeah. So good pod, man.
Yep.
All right.
Lots of good times.
Yep.
And now I'm gonna go get on a meeting. Toodaloo.
All right. See you guys. Bye bye.